Hello everybody, my name's Jennifer Squires and we make paints, create, sew and have fun. So today we're going to be doing something very different. As the finale video of the Halloween series, we're going ghost hunting. Now this is my very first proper formal paranormal investigation. I do enjoy paranormal investigators and paranormal content upon the YouTubes and the wider webs. And this is my first foray into this. So I'm going to be going with my husband, not only because he's a huge paranormal nut like me, but also, protection, because he's, super strong and all of that, and really, really tall. So I have my own personal rules for ghost hunting that differs from some other people, I believe, that I've seen. So number one, never investigate, for me personally, in the place that you are currently living in, because odds are if you find something, you don't want to stir it up, and if you find something that you didn't know you had before, then you're most likely already peacefully cohabitating, so it's best to let sleeping dogs lie. Number two, never investigate in a cemetery where people are still being buried in, so an active cemetery. A cemetery where they have run out of space or it's historical and people are no longer actively being buried there, that's fine. But if people are still actively being buried in a place of rest, then I don't want to investigate that. And the third thing is, I don't want to investigate in an active place of worship, so a church or a temple that has been or is still being used. So if it's run down or it's abandoned or anything like that, then I believe then that's okay. And also always gain permission. Now the place we're going to tonight is a public park. It is a park where people quite often freedom camp, van lifers, RVers, caravanners, they all can sleep there overnight. So that's where we're going tonight. Now we're going to delve a little bit more into the place we're going. Okay, so the place we're investigating today is a local park. It's called Timona Park, and there are two reasons why I chose this place. One, because it's really close to home, and two, there has been quite a bit of death there. I have found recorded drownings at the river that flows through the park going back as, hold on, my notes, 1893. So, over 130 years of recorded drownings. And also about 12 years ago, it was the site of a pretty horrific light plane crash. Now, I was only living probably about a mile or two away from the park at the time. I live a little bit further away now, but I remember watching the plane go overhead, and I just had, I think, my second child. So I was sleep deprived, and I looked up and I kind of let the intrusive thoughts win, and I thought, it might be funny if that crashes. And then I just didn't think about it, and I went inside, I fed the kids, got on with my day to day. And it wasn't until later that evening when I watched the news that I realized that that plane actually did crash, and not only did it crash, no one survived. So I'm going to be reading from my notes, so pardon if I keep looking down, but the aviation report from the New Zealand Aviation Authority is a public document. You can find this online, anyone can read it. So I'm not reading out any sort of sensitive information, but I'm also not going to be giving the names of the gentlemen that passed away right now, because I would like to see later on when we go and investigate tonight if those names actually come up. So, okay, the plane crashed on the 23rd of January 2012, and it took off from the local aerodrome at about 10:20 in the morning, and not long afterwards it ran into some trouble. So it did a steep diving turn, but during a pre-flight check, the two men were carrying out, they were the only people at the airfield at the time, were doing a pre-flight check. Somebody left, and nobody knows who it is because it was impossible to determine. Somebody left a screwdriver where they shouldn't have, and it prevented the plane from being able to come back up and level out. So it was going into a steep dive, and the man had to make a quick choice of crashing and just letting go down, or trying to steer away from housing, which would have been where I was living at the time. And so knowing that they were going to die, they knew they weren't going to survive this, they had to make a choice. And so they chose an open field, which was the park. So they crashed there, and it was, you know, a bit of a fiery plane crash. It would have been instantaneous death for them. And the thing that makes it sad is that the playground, about 200 yards away from the actual site of the crash, was full of families, full of children. These kids saw this happen. These parents saw this happen. They went running to the site of the plane crash, but they couldn't get close, and they just had to watch it happen. There was nothing anyone could do. So that kind of trauma, that kind of heart-wrenching pain from people watching it, and knowing that you're going to die, you're going to crash, making that kind of choice, that kind of leaves some sort of emotional scar upon the landscape. And also then you go about 300-400 yards just across the little road that runs through the middle of the park to the river. There's drownings, numerous drownings. Now, I have the name of the gentleman who was the first recorded drowning in this park, but I'm also not going to give his name right now because I would like to see if it comes up later in the investigation. So we have drownings, we have a very traumatic plane crash, and so we're going to go and investigate and see what happened. Okay, we've made it to the park. It is very cold. I'm wearing, I think, 4 layers, and it's colder outside now than it is inside the refrigerator. So right where we're standing is where the initial plane crash happened, and I don't know if you can see very well, over there is where the playground was. So we're going to stand here, and my husband's walking around with an EMF reader, and we're going to jump into the first ghost hunting app that we have and see what we can discover and what we can find. Okay, we are in GhostTube now, and this is just the You Are Annoying. Lovely. Why am I annoying? This is the GhostTube app. This is just like the communication. They can use the app to generate words. Gosh, so you are annoying. Why am I annoying? My name is Jennifer. I'm just here to talk to anybody that is willing to talk to me. I'm here to talk about the plane accident that was here about 12 years ago, if anyone is willing to speak to me. Just going to recalibrate the magnetometer here. Okay. Now, because I have my microphone plugged in, I'm not going to be able to hear the words that generate right here. Normally they would be quite audible, but I've got a microphone plugged in, so I'll just have to keep my eye on the screen. And I've lost sight of my husband, my protection. Where is he? Oh, there he is. I can see a little green light floating around. He told me. Okay, who told you? I'm getting another spike on the magnetometer, which is supposed to be functioning like an EMF in the same kind of vein, and it's disappeared again. Can I walk around? I can't seem to get it to spike again. Oh, okay. I got, as soon as I started it, you are annoying, and then he told me. So, yeah. No, husband's just said it could be a conversation between the two pilots. It could be a conversation between two spirits. Sorry for the double chin action, it's freezing. So yeah, we're just here to listen and information gather.
We could be annoying.
Or we could honestly just be annoying, I've been told that. But then I'm one of 5, so that goes without saying that one of us is bound to be annoying. I'm gonna go closer to the goalpost. That's where my husband said he had a spike of EMF. I can't see. It's alright. Standing at the goalpost. I'm getting a spike. Can you bring the EMF closer, see if it sets off the thing in the phone?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so that's setting off because of the phone. So we will stand a few meters apart just so that it won't set each other's devices off. But once again, my name's Jennifer and this is my husband, and we're just here to talk if anyone's willing to talk to us about anything. We're just here to listen if you have anything you want to tell us. Slam. Well, are you referring to the plane crash? Because I gather that did slam down pretty much right where I'm standing. I'm sorry you went through that. We've also got a super blue moon, which is a full moon, the second full moon in a month, and then a super moon, which means the full moon is at its closest point during the year in the earth, to the earth. So apparently that has some significance towards paranormal activity, so we'll see how that plays out throughout the evening. Change arms. Nothing really. Flashlight. Yeah, I am using a flashlight mounted to my cell phone so that I can see. Is it bothering you? If you want me to turn it off, just let me know. Sorry, I'm chewing gum, that's quite rude. Hold on. Did I get you? Nearly? Sorry. So we did come down here a few months ago. Britany. Is that your name? I don't have anyone in my research with the name Britany. Is that your name or is that someone you're trying to talk to? That was, I think last time when we came for our dry one, we got a name Amber that came through, and I had spoken to some people, and apparently there's the woman that I spoke about earlier that came to spend her final moments at the river because it was her favourite place. Apparently her name was Amber, or people called her Amber, so we'll see. Now, anything we get tonight I'll research further and to see if I can find it of anything significance. Otherwise it might just be just an anomaly. People do say that flowing bodies of water are like portals or highways for activity, so people use it like a thoroughfare to get from one place to another. So that's the theory anyway. This is my first foray into an official help. I can't help you, I'm afraid. You're beyond my help. I'm just here to talk. I'm sorry. I'm going to flick through to another app called Ghost Trooper SLS, which is supposed to pick up figures. So I'm going to stop on this one and move over to the next one. Okay, I'm currently using SLS, and as you can see it's picking up my husband and myself. So if there's any other figure or anything is picked up, that's apparently indicative of somebody else here to talk to us. So I think I might flip the light around and the camera around, and we'll see if there's anything. Okay. Okay, so I've got my camera flipped around. I'm going to see. It's picking up my husband, so we know it's working. See if we can pick anything up. Now, right about here is where the plane crash actually happened. And so we'll just slowly scan around and see if we can pick any figures up. My lantern is cold. So we've got no figures currently, so...
This is a sport.
Pardon?
This is a sport.
Okay, well...
Seems too close to the
If you can see that little... Gosh, my skin is reflecting light, something chronic. Right there is the playground. And so, round about this area is where the accident happened. So I'm going to flick through to a different app. Okay, this is GhostTube Seer. This is supposed to be the AI art generating one, in the same way that an EMF... Alright, we're getting a picture. What is it? What do you think that picture is? It looks like sand almost.
doesn't make sense.
Strange though. It's quite red. Kind of looks bloody, but some in the same way it isn't. It's hard to make out. Maybe this is the first time whoever's here has encountered a tool like this, where they can actually show an image and say, this is what I look like, or this is what wherever I am looks like, or this is what I saw. So would you be able to show us what you look like at all? It is very cold. It is really cold. My hands are starting to hurt a little. Got another picture. Like a little house in a field with lots of trees. At one point this might have been a homestead at some point, eh? This wasn't a Maybe I'll pop this picture into Google image search as I'm editing and see what comes up, and then if anything does, I'll
a lot of housing over there, so.
Yeah, there is a lot of housing that way. It could be an old house, but I'll pop it in a Google image search and see what comes up, and if anything does, I'll pop in while I'm editing and let you know. It's so bright out for a middle of winter night, but we're not seeming to get much of anything here. I don't think that...
If there was,
yeah, if there was anyone here,
made peace.
they've probably made peace with it. The two men that did pass are I guess were religious men and knew where they were going. And they knew they were going to pass, so they're not like they're trapped. They made the choice of having to crash here rather than in a densely populated housing area. So if they were...
Heroes.
well, yeah, they chose to sacrifice themselves to save others. So if they had landed even half a mile, pretty much in any direction, except that way where the river is, they would have struck houses. And they're lucky they landed here instead of about 200 meters or so that way, where there's a playground full of families and things. And kids. Which, honestly, it must have been terrifying to watch. And then your first instinct was to come and run and help. And you can't. There's nothing anyone could have done. And just to have to watch it happen must have been horrifying. And then having to carry that as one of those core memories. Imagine that being one of your first core memories as a kid. That would suck.
Not good.
No, it'd be incredibly traumatizing, and that kind of pain imprints itself on a place. After not really receiving much else, we decided to walk over to the river to investigate further. Okay, so I'm specifically talking to the young man that drowned here in 1893. I want to know... Oh, that's terrifying. I would like to know what you look like. This looks like a man in a hood with swords either going through his hand or through his forearm. So I don't think that this is you. But can you please show me what you look like? Or maybe what your home looks like? It is nice sitting here with the river. It sounds really nice. And the only thing at the moment for me that's cold is my hands, because it's holding the tripod my phone is attached to. So if you hear anything or see anything in the background that we did not see or hear on the night or during the edit, please leave it in the comments below. We'll see what we get. Is there anything in here? Is there anything specific you would like us to see? You would like to show us? I'm sitting here under the full blue supermoon. Use as much energy as you can muster. Take energy from my lights, from my phone if you need to. Show me something that you want me to see. Have you got anything? I'm just going to flip the camera around and put it on the river. I'm going to get out my torch as well.
Oh, crap. You won't let me do it anymore.
Yeah, because you don't have the
Daily data limit exceeded.
the in-app purchase. So these apps are really good, but if you want an unlimited amount of recording time, you do have to subscribe, and I think it's something like $15 for the entire year, which is honestly pittance. So I think it's well worth the value, and I highly recommend it. And I will link to all of these apps in the description below, as well as the channel of the original creators, who are also paranormal investigators, and they coded and wrote these apps all on their own and do all of it all on their own. They're not part of any large company. But see, the river is right there. So I'm not really getting much of anything else through here, so I'm going to flick through to Ghost Tube. So it's getting cold and my phone's starting to not work very well. But yeah, because of the moisture of the river right behind me. Yeah, the water and the rocks absorb. But if you have a name, I have a name, I know a name of a young man that drowned here in 1893. So if you're here, please let us know. Like I said, we're not here to harm, or we're not here with any ill content.
Well, the river's so vast, you couldn't do the whole river.
Yeah, this river is like
You might not pick up in.
kilometers long. It's just this short section,
It's kind of weird.
yeah, that runs through the park. And the park's borders have changed in the past. This was officially declared a protected or recreational park in 1916. So, but you're back. Yes, I'm back. My phone cut out because it was cold. This section that runs through the park is probably just under a kilometre long, so it could have been anywhere down here. But my name is Jennifer. What is your name? So my husband was walking around behind me earlier listening to Ghost Tube Vox. He said the only thing he could hear clearly with certainty was it many suspects? Many suspects. And I guess I really wouldn't know what that would pertain to. For a while they didn't know what caused the plane crash, so there were a lot of people under investigation until they figured it out. Many suspects, I guess, with maybe who caused the drowning, whether it was accidental or intentional. But this is our first foray into our first official, I guess, paranormal investigation. Amateurs, who is she? I am Jennifer. I am the wife of my husband. And he doesn't necessarily want me to use his name on the internet, and so I will respect that, and I hope that you're okay with that. Shrek. Your name's not Shrek. He's way better looking than Shrek. I think we will wrap up soon, and when I edit to this together, I hopefully will be able to string it together and take out all of the dead space where nothing's happening. And this is just our first foray into ghost hunting, so it might not have the same ebb and flow that you're used to of the paranormal investigators of, the movies or the documentaries or the internet. It's not known at all for hauntings. I just know of a few tragic events that happened here, and I figured that this was the safest place to try it out. To start. My dream place would be to investigate the old Napier prison, where there's a lot of stories and people have captured figures, and it's on the Lake Alice as well. If you look up the story of Lake Alice, it's really sad, but it's privately owned land now, and it's on 3 separate titles with different owners, and it's really, really hard to get permission clean. What would clean mean? I guess the river, some people would use it to come and clean before they had running water, I'm guessing. Yeah, when it was a clean river. It's not really that clean now. Most rivers in New Zealand have like a little sign that'll say, this is, the Orua River, and then it'll have a little QR code that you can scan, and it'll tell you if it's safe to swim in or not, if the water is clean, whether or not you're able to drink it if you boil it, especially after storms and stuff. Because there's a lot of farmland around, whether that could flow off and into the river, it just lets you know your water safety. And down that way there's a landscaping supplies place where they have like fertilizers and blood and bones, and sometimes after heavy rain there's runoff in the river. And I think that's what that big light is over there. And if you're really quiet you can hear the river and cows. Okay, across the river that way there's a golf course, and then on the other side of the golf course sing. I can't sing well, but I did used to sing in a choir, and we did perform at Her Majesty's Theatre once when I was a child. There's the high school farm where they raise beef cattle. But I think for our first foray into paranormal investigation, even though we were only out for maybe a total of 45 minutes, it's very cold. But we're dipping our toes into something. It's a start. It's something we'd like to do again. This episode might not make complete sense, but for my...
Start somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta start. Okay, after editing everything you've just seen together, we're going to go back again. We're not 100% confident or content with what we've uncovered, so we're going to go back and see if we can get anything else, and maybe something more concise, and maybe even a complete conversation if we can. So let's go. Okay, we're running in Vox. I can't plug in my microphone, so I'm sorry if you can't hear me very well. I'm going to try and get a little bit closer to the river. Like I said last time we were here, rivers are supposed to be, or flowing bodies of water, like a highway or a thoroughfare for spiritual activity, so the theory goes. So, oh my god, there are so many bugs out tonight. But we're just going to see what we can pick up. Okay, we're as close to the river as we can without being dangerous. I don't know if you can see, but that's the shore's right there, and it's usually about another 10 or so feet further that way, so the river is quite in flood. So I'm going to turn my flashlight off.
Golf.
Okay. So my name's Jennifer, and I'm here with my husband, and we're here specifically to talk to anyone that is willing to speak to us, anyone that may have passed or passed on within this river or within this park. If you have anything you'd like to say to us.
It was fun.
This is fun. Once again, as I edit, I'm going to put what I hear on the screen right here. So, how many people are talking to us tonight? Is there anyone here who would like to speak to us?
No one else. Thank you so much.
Miss you so much. Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
Untalked.
Not talking. No talk. Stop. We were here about a month ago. That's when we filmed the first part of this. And we tried our best to speak and communicate. Don't. Okay, if you don't want to talk, leave. Stop. Please stop. Alright, well that's fine. We'll respect it. We'll move on somewhere else, but thank you. Okay, we've respected the wishes of, I guess, the spirits of the river who told us they didn't want to talk, and they asked us to leave, so we did. So we've come over to the crash site again just to see if there's anyone that's willing to speak to us here. So we're in Ghost Tube. What happened? There was a plane accident here about 12 years ago, but if you're referring to just over the way at the river, we're not really sure, but they said they didn't want to speak to us and they asked us to leave, so we did, because it would be rude not to demand information from somebody who's clearly said they don't want to talk to us. Alright, is there anyone who's willing to speak to us here? Just going to give the EMF to my husband, turn it on, and I'll give him the torch too so he can see where he's going. Okay. For a Wednesday night, this park is quite active with four-wheel drivers, even though it's quite dark. Is there anyone here at all willing to speak to us? It's bright. Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you want me to turn it off? Just let me know. We got words last time we were here about a flashlight, didn't we? Maybe they don't like the bright lights. I'll see if I can dim it down as far as I can go. Yeah, I've dimmed it down. Castle. No, I don't live in a castle personally. I just live in a regular old house. Yeah, there used to be a castle sort of structure at the playground, wasn't there? And the pirate ship, but it's not there anymore because the playground got renovated, made more safe. Would you like us to go over to the playground?
Maybe they're at peace when
Alright. It is quite possible that there's no one here to speak to us at all. We'll give it a few more moments, and if we get nothing through here, we'll go through to, I guess, Ghost Tube Seer. Maybe if there is anything here, they don't necessarily speak the same language we do. Regret. Do you? Oh wow, it's a big. What regrets do you have? If you were talking about the plane accident, I don't think you should have any regrets. You made a decision that saved a lot of people, even though it wasn't you. Do you have a name for us? My name is Jennifer and I'm here with my husband. Should have introduced myself properly. If you don't like us being here, just let us know and ask us to leave or to go, and we'll gladly do so. This is your place, not ours. I should note there's a vehicle driving past. If you're not willing or able to speak to us, we're going to change into another app now where you can use your energy and show us maybe what you look like or something you want us to see. So we're back in Ghost Tube Seer. I'm gonna turn my light up just a little bit so I can actually see myself. Is there anything you would like to show us? Anything you want us to see? Maybe what you look like? Maybe show us what you regret? Wow. It's like another housing structure. Yeah, last time we got a picture of a home. But this looks more like no, there's a fence. It's either like a prison or some type of institutional thing. Everything that we find, we're going to put into Google image search and then put up a description on the screen of the information we could find. So maybe you regret what happened at this place or sending someone there. Would you be able to show us what you look like at all? Let's take energy from our lights. We have plenty. Like we're getting like little flashes, like they're trying but they can't quite figure it out. So Ghost Tube Seer uses AI in the same way that, do you have the email? The way that these lights light up to show that something's around, it picks something up and it uses AI to show an image of something that best matches, I guess, the EMF energies, as far as I understand. There is housing all across there that backs up onto the park, probably about a little bit more than, I'd say, 600 or 700 meters away. And then if we just turn around that way, the playground is over there, and then the river is back there where we just were. Are you able to show us what you look like at all? Or maybe...
anything?
Yes, just show us anything. If you can't, that's fine. And we'll move on. Maybe like before, this wasn't a park until 1916. I don't think there were any big structures
We don't know.
here. because I've done a fair bit of research on the park. A structure that big, like the image shown, would have been a bit.
Either regretting and showing what he.
Yeah.
Or
Either regretting what happened there, or going there, or working there. Well, thank you for showing us what you did. We're going to try one more app. We're going to go back into Vox, which is like the Spirit Box app, and see if anyone is willing to speak to us. And if we get the same type of responses that we did earlier, then we'll just go if they ask us to leave. Okay, I've had to unplug the microphone, so you may not be able to hear You may not be able to hear me clearly. Alright. And we'll listen further in editing and put up what we think we leave. Is there anyone here willing to speak to us?
Highlights. Valliant.
Grace.
Well, that sounded a bit deep and ominous. So there's quite a lot of vehicle activity here for a late Wednesday night. The river's in flux. We're just keeping an eye out and making sure we can see the trade. Is there a name? Can you give us your name, please? My name is Jennifer.
Omnicron. Aint.
This is one of the freedom campers walking around to all of the toilet blocks. They're all locked. After getting nothing else of consequence or relevance, even after heading over to the playground for a while, we decided to wrap it up and call it a night. That's it. That's the end of this paranormal investigation. Thank you for watching the Halloween series. This is something very different to the usual art content that I do, but I do enjoy this and would like to do it again in the future. So if that's something you'd like to see, let us know in the comments. Thumbs up this video, thumbs down, you do you, subscribe, share with your friends, tell everybody, and we'll see you in another video. Again, all of the words and words that we think we might have heard will be in the pinned comment, and we'll see you next week for another arty video.